Hello, I'm Chef Joe Romero. I am the chef of Three Sisters Kitchen and Pueblo Resurgence. I am half Navajo and Pueblo. I was born in Santa Fe, but I now live and cook in Albuquerque, New Mexico, aka Tewa territory. So I got into cooking kind of randomly, actually. There was a concert I wanted to go to, but I didn't have the money, so I walked into my local Chinese restaurant and asked if they needed any help, and they needed a dishwasher. So I did that until I made the money for the concert ticket, and I left, and I never came back. But there was something just like addicting about it that I kept coming back to kitchen jobs. And I found out that I had kind of a little bit of a talent for it, and I was just addicted to that adrenaline and the food and the people, and I've been doing it ever since. Something I love about the food in New Mexico is like we have like kind of like very deep-rooted traditions, plus like a melting pot of so many different cultures. One of the first times I worked with running medicine, they had a potluck, and I kind of just looked at my plate, and there was like Korean food, like Navajo food, like New Mexican food, and like some Greek food, and I was just like, I love this, like I love that, and I just felt so lucky in that moment to just like see it as so many different cultures and like my own culture like represented on one plate, and that was really fun. My biggest thing is just like practice, like just go for it. I think there's a lot of like fear in the kitchen, and I don't like that. Just go for it. If it sounds good, if it feels good, if it smells good, if it sounds good, I think just go for it and see what you end up with. You know, most savory dishes you can kind of fix. So my biggest advice for getting more confidence in the kitchen is just go for it. Kind of a city kid, actually. My mom was from Hopi and Zuni, and my dad was Navajo. So I would go to each other's grandparents' house, and something about both those cuisines is like they kind of mixed together for me a little bit. And it wasn't until I was older to where I realized what was Navajo and what was Pueblo, but like I think my both grandmas on both sides kind of made each other's foods just from knowing each other, and there was like that line was really blurred, and I actually kind of really like that. So we got fry bread and like feast day style stews, bone stew, red chili stews, like pozoles and things like that. Those, and like pies and oven bread. Those are just like the staples, and those are just things I grew up loving and missing. And being in New Mexico, obviously there's a huge Mexican population and other types of land people. I've always loved the basics, like beans and rice and tacos and things like that. Something I have a big sweet tooth, so I'm actually really into going to Michoacanas and getting aguas and all the different types of paletas and things like that. Let's see, American food. American food, I mean, like what I thought was American food, I realized that pizza is kind of, more Italian, but like, when I was younger, I thought pizza was like American food. And so, yeah, pizza is probably up there as far as my favorite foods. I was, as a kid, and still am very obsessed with the Ninja Turtles. So I always get my sorry. So I end up eating a lot of pizza just because I love that, and pizza's great. Pizza's fantastic. One of the recipes is a basil pesto. I love herbs, and I think herbs, especially from local farms, is kind of like an underlooked kind of thing. So to be able to provide like a really good classic recipe for herbs, I think is a big kind of game changer. It's such a great way to boost flavor without adding too much salt into recipes, or just like as a condiment for sandwiches and things like that. So I love this recipe. It has so much flavor. It's good on almost everything, and it's a great way to buy fresh herbs from local farmers.